That's Rinvoq Relief.
Rinvoq can lower your
All right, meteorologist Zach Scott here alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge, and we are tracking a tornado warning. This is going to be for Johnson and Logan counties. This is in the River Valley. We're tracking a storm that has really pulsed up here in the last 30 minutes and really started to rotate, and that rotation got even tighter. We have not had confirmation of a tornado on the ground. This has just really happened in the last couple of minutes, but this storm is just to the southwest of Paris. If the tornado is on the ground, it would be just to the southwest of Paris, just to the southeast of Coxville. Again, a very messy cluster of storms rolling in. This is round number one. These storms, as we told you all day long, would have the potential to rotate, would have the potential to be strong to severe. We'll watch this cluster continue off towards the northeast, and then we're going to get more storms to develop out towards the west as we go through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening hours, and those storms will be rotating again off towards the northeast, and they'll be capable of being strong to severe. We're going to zoom into this storm here in Logan County. Again, as it's moving off towards the northeast, we'll zoom in on that, and then we'll also get that rotation for you as well. We can show you velocity here coming up. Again, this is for Logan County. We've got the storm moving off towards the northeast at 45 miles per hour, and again, it's capable of producing a tornado and then also capable of producing some quarter-size hail, but the tornado is our main concern. That area of rotation is coming again right in to Paris right here. So if there's a tornado on the ground, this is it right here. And again, it takes a couple minutes for these radar scans to go around and come back and to give us that picture, to give us that data. So we're technically looking a couple minutes into the past. So this rotation's already coming into Paris right now. There's Coxville. Again, there's Roseville. This is Logan County. The storm is moving rapidly off towards the northeast at 45 miles per hour. Potential tornado trying to develop here just to the southwest of Paris. So again, you are under a tornado watch in this part of the area. We're talking Scott, Logan, Johnson. The rest of 5 country is not in a tornado watch, but we're anticipating that we will get one here within the next hour or so. Everyone's going to have the potential for these severe storms as we go through the rest of the day. Again, this is moving off towards the northeast around 45 miles per hour. It's currently 2:28 in the afternoon. This warning goes until 3 p.m. Moving off towards the northeast, 45 miles per hour. It's in Paris right now. Again, this rotating thunderstorm, and then it'll be moving around St. Joseph School now, Hartman 242 and 242 West Side School. So we're going to continue to track this off towards the northeast. Again, we do have the rest of our weather team heading out now. They're going to be tracking these storms as we go through the rest of the afternoon into the evening. This is a big window opportunity here for strong to severe storms to impact all of 5 country. We're talking the River Valley, we're talking eastern Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas. Now through the rest of the afternoon and through the evening, we could see our storm threat not wrapping up really until later in the day. We're talking midnight to 1 a.m. into the overnight hours. So this is round 1, rotating thunderstorm moving into Paris right now. Haven't had confirmation of a tornado on the ground. And again, it looks like this portion of the storm is going to stay out of Franklin County. That's right there. There's Ozark just to the north here. This is what we're watching. Got a little bit of a hook here, pulsed up very quickly, and again, it's moving over Paris right now. So potential tornado trying to develop with this storm. It's moving off towards the northeast, again, around 45 miles per hour. You need to be in your tornado safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Again, we have Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge here. Matt, are we seeing anything new?
What we're watching is it's approaching right over Paris itself. This thing, once again, like Zach said, is moving about 45 miles per hour. So if you're in the path of this storm, let's get you some updates here. Hartman 243, so here in just about 10 minutes or so, you need to go ahead and get to your safe place. And then West Side School, as you get closer to Johnson County, that's where we also have the threat of this rotating supercell thunderstorm here on the leading edge of this line that's moving north and east right now. Here's once again a quick loop over just the past 15 minutes. You can see how this thing has spun up, and here's a look at velocity over the past 15 minutes too. I'll go ahead and get that loop in for a second. right there on the leading edge. It looks a little bit messier, Zach, with just that latest scan. But so far, this thing is now leaving the Paris area and is now getting close to Gray Rock and just east of Gray Rock. So if you live north of Subiaco, getting close to Arkansas 288, that's where you need to go ahead and get in your safe place. Make sure you get away from all windows. Get to the most interior room of your house. So this would be getting close to the Arkansas River bottoms. This is north of it's on the north side of Paris. So that's north of the Paris City Pool and the city park, north of the school district there. The school district's on the northeast side. This storm is still located around Paris, but moving north and east out of town. If you live near Kalamazoo Road, if you live near Union Road, you need to go ahead and take your safe shelter right now, and then we'll be headed into the Arkansas River bottoms. If you know where the McKendree Cemetery is, that's where we need to be looking out for as well. Now, this warning, Zach, extends into Johnson County, too. It does include Clarksville, but specifically, you need to look in the Coal Hill area, Hartman area, and then north towards Hunt, Arkansas. That's where this rotating thunderstorm is headed right now. A lot of lightning too. Zach, just for a second, we'll check the hail for a moment. It doesn't look like hail is the primary factor, but especially if you're a little bit farther on the west side of town, that's where we're getting the hail. Usually that hail is just towards the north and west of that circulation. And Zach, here's a look at that velocity if you want to analyze that for just a moment.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got some gusty winds there as well around Gray Rock. That's also going to be where Matt was talking about the downdraft being off towards the northwest of the circulation. And so again, the area of rotation is around Paris. That's your inflow, so you got warm, muggy air coming in, and then again, your updraft is going to be tilted, so you're going to have a lot of rain-cold air rushing out, hitting the ground, and then rushing out there, and that's when you get that little bowing feature. That's also where you're going to have your hail core as well. So you got some heavy rain. You may have some small hail up to the size of quarters around Gray Rock to the south of Roseville, and then you're going to get some gusty winds. It's just to the northeast of Paris is where we're watching for the potential for the, again, circulation and maybe the potential tornado. Now, again, Matt circling there. We could have a new little notch developing. It's very messy. This storm pulsed up. Then it looks like, again, we talk about these storms, they do cycle. So you can get a quick, brief tornado, you could have a long track tornado, but they always do end up cycling, and this one may be cycling a lot faster. So we'll watch just to the north of Paris now. Got a little bit of an indentation, so we may have a new area of circulation starting to take off. This is moving off towards the northeast, about 45 miles per hour, so to be in Coal Hill at 2:39. That's only about 6 minutes from now. So we're going to have to continue to keep watching that. Again, that's not giving you a whole lot of time. That's pretty quick. Matt, is National Weather Service seeing anything new as well?
They've got some reporters from Spotters just watching that rotation, and so we'll watch that. In fact, we've got our crew out as well. They're pushing into the river valley, watching this thunderstorm too. We don't have a picture right now, but just rotation still there. It's about to cross the Arkansas River, though. What's nice about this spot, Zach, is that it's very, very rural. You've got a lot of crops there because it gets very swampy right next to the river bottoms. But this is now north of Paris, near the O'Kane Park in Roseville. But it looks like Zach is going to be crossing the Arkansas River here shortly. Yeah, the rotation that prompted the warning, I'm not really seeing that anymore right now. It looks like it's fizzled out a little bit. So again, we may see a new area of circulation try to take off. And look, any of the thunderstorms out there today are going to be in an environment that's capable of producing strong to severe storms. They're going to be storms that are easily going to be able to rotate. Now, they're not all going to produce tornadoes, but these rotating thunderstorms, they can produce strong updrafts that can produce damaging hail, very heavy rainfall, and damaging straight line winds will certainly be possible. You can see how it really tightened up there just to the southwest of Paris. You get the brighter colors. Again, the brighter the color, the potential for the stronger winds there. The radar is back near Fort Smith, and so red is showing winds moving away from the radar. Green would be showing us winds moving to and towards the radar. And you get a little bit of a bowing feature right there as well. So you could have some strong wind gusts right there, easily over 40, maybe 50 miles per hour. These winds kind of bowing out of the thunderstorm there. Again, maybe a little bit of a hook still trying to linger there. Maybe another little mesocyclone, another little area of rotation trying to develop to the north of Paris. And again, you've got Roseville in southern Franklin County. Just to the north, this is heading towards Coal Hill. Again, tornado warning for Johnson County and Franklin County. Clarksville, you are included in this tornado warning. Again, we're watching a thunderstorm that is moving off towards the northeast currently, and again, it is really tightened
opened up. The atmosphere is just really spinning today, and it's really just getting going, Matt, right?
It is.
We're going to see those ingredients building more as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening.
Well, look how messy this is, too. We may, if you guys also have reports, please send those in, because check this out. In southern Franklin County, it looks like we may have had a downburst for a second, and then that wind gusted out to start that rotation on the eastern side. So if you live in Charleston, Branch, Ratcliffe, and then north on Highway 41, let us know if you guys had some wind damage for a second. It looks like we had that good gust of wind, and then it pushed out east in order to kind of help spin this thing up. But right now, Zach, it looks like it is currently crossing the Arkansas River. There's not a bridge right here. This is, I mean, a lot of crops down towards the river itself, but it looks like this will be momentarily crossing over the Arkansas River out of Logan County and then moving mainly towards Johnson County. And this is mainly western Johnson County, too. We're still moving about 45 miles per hour towards the north, but as Zach talked about, these things cycle and they can spin up real quick and they can slow down for a second, too. But it looks like that rotation is mainly, I'm going to redraw that. I'm going to make it a little bit wider just in case these things kind of wobble a bit. But once again, we've got that tornado warning that includes western Johnson County. If you're in Clarksville, you are under this warning. You're not out of the woods yet, but just latest indications show that this may hug a little bit farther west. That would be good news for Clarksville. If you live west of Hartman or Woodland, that's where you really need to make sure that you're taking your tornado safe precautions. If you are in Clarksville, it's a good idea to go ahead and get in that safe spot too. The rotation itself may be hugging a little bit farther west. You see those times there listed on the top left of your screen. Coal Hill 239 here in just about 2 minutes. It's in Coal Hill. 241 for Hartman, and then also West Side School 241, Edna 250, 254 for Batson. We really haven't seen any kind of debris in the radar scan itself as we've been watching. Just real quickly, we'll go ahead and switch that for just a second. What I'm putting up is essentially, you can tell the difference between what raindrops are and something else that shouldn't be in the radar, too. And you're getting some of those orange, Zach. We've had some hail, but hail is not a primary threat, but you could get some hail on the west side of the storm. So it looks like overall, if you're trying to track the rotation itself, once again, you have Coal Hill and west side. But then the hail is a little bit farther west right now, hugging closer to the county line. You can see that pocket of hail that we popped just a moment ago just near Gray Rock. So there is some hail falling out of this. We're getting hail reports with the radar beam itself just under that inch mark. So we probably have some, you know, pea-sized to nickel-sized hail falling in this storm. But I'm going to do two things, Zach. I'm going to go ahead and put two lines on the map. One is going to be the hail that you're going to watch as it moves north. And then we kind of have a secondary portion of the storm where you got more of the rotation. That's going to hug a little bit farther towards the east. But you see where that line goes. It goes right towards Coal Hill and then right over the Hunt, Arkansas area near Hartman and Woodland, too. So if you're ever near the River Valley Sportsman Club, Ozark Roofing, which is a little bit farther north, you've got some of the Amish Mennonite churches there, Harmony, which is off 164, McCormick's One Shop, that's in Harmony too. That's where you need to go ahead and take your tornado safe. I'm going to go ahead and go back to radar here for a moment, Zach. And we may go wide for a second. If you could watch what's going on just from an area-wide perspective and look at some of these storms.
Yeah, and I was trying to look and just see the hook was very clear at one point when it was to the southwest of Parrish, right before the warning came out. Me and you were looking at it, and I mean, it was a clear textbook, supercell, hook signature, and it really pulsed up and it was very clear. It's a little bit messier now, but again, those storms are maybe cycling a little bit. Those are certainly the strongest storms. They even look the nastiest on radar. You can see you've got the darker reds showing up there. So again, this is where we're seeing the strongest downdrafts. We've got the lightning, we've got the winds, we've got the hail core right here. This is our downdraft right under the 40 symbol there. It looks like the strongest part of this storm is going to stay to the west of Clarksville. So you're not going to hit with the downdraft. We're talking the heavy rains, those strong winds, and the potential for hail. But we are watching again maybe trying to tighten back up. This is the area of circulation. It's kind of, again, it was just to the southwest a couple scans ago of Paris, and then as quickly kind of just moved up. So we're going to continue to watch this. This is the area that could try to redevelop a tornado. We didn't get confirmation that tornado was on the ground south of Paris, but this storm just really started tightening up in the lower levels of the atmosphere, and again, it's going to continue off towards the north. So as Matt was just saying, I mean, this looks like it's going to stay to the west of Clarksville. You're still under the warning, Clarksville, because these storms can move very quickly. Sometimes storms tighten up so fast that they'll start to take a little bit more of a right turn. We're not seeing that right now, but we want to continue to watch it. So West Side School, again, heads up to you if you're around the West Side School area. 241, we're giving you a couple minutes heads up as much as we can. Woodland 253, Mount Zion School 3 o'clock, and Ferris Springs 303. If you recognize any of these locations or you're not far from them, whether you live or you work, again, heads up to you. Start thinking about it, where you're going to go into in your home or in your office building. You want to get into the centermost part of that building and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And like Matt was just also saying too, the storm may not be producing a tornado, but it is producing some strong wind gusts. We're seeing that right there. It does look like it's trying to maybe give us a little bit more of a couplet right there. Doesn't it look like it, Matt? It's trying to tighten up just a little bit.
It does. And also, quick update, they went ahead and trimmed part of that tornado warning. It still includes extreme northern Logan County, but it looks like Paris is now out of it.
So yeah, so what he's talking about, when it first came out, the warning was back here, so they've trimmed it back now. So Paris, you're in the clear. Most of Johnson County, Johnson County is still in this watch, but a good portion of Logan County has been cleared, but still far northwestern Logan County, north of Paris, still under this warning. The area of rotation is getting ready to cross the county line, and should be crossing the county line as we speak and going into Johnson. Here's Franklin County out towards the west. You are not included. If you live in Franklin County, anywhere in the county, you are not included in this tornado warning. So again, this storm is moving off towards the northeast. It's kind of in one of those more favorable areas too. There's no storms to the southeast of it, so it's not having to compete for all that fuel that's built up in the atmosphere. You step outside anywhere in 5 country today, you kind of notice, man, the humidity's up. That's the fuel, the gasoline for these storms. So again, there's a few spotty showers down here, but right now they're not too much of a problem. There's warm, muggy air flowing right into this storm, and again, it's messy. If this was producing a tornado, it looks like it would be pretty rain-wrapped. You wouldn't see this, and it is producing some strong winds as well. Lightning is ticking up in here. This is where you're going to have the possibility of maybe some small hail up to the size of quarters currently coming down. This is moving off towards the northeast pretty quick. So it's very close to you, Clarksville. Let's go ahead and be in your safe place as well. Again, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We're watching this area right here, trying to tighten back up again. Again, possible tornado trying to develop now in southern Johnson County. This is moving to the northeast, about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Matt, any new updates?
Yeah, reading the newest update on the speed, they've now dropped it to 40.
Okay.
That just helps us with some of those numbers. Of course, when you see the left-hand side of your screen. For a moment, Cody, if you can hear me in the control room, if we can pull up Max 2, I want to show a live view of what it looks like outside as you're looking from Franklin County and you're looking east. You're looking along the Arkansas River back at that thunderstorm. It's a little bit harder to see some lightning during the day because you've got the sunlight out there. Of course, not a lot of sun peeking through those clouds at the moment, but sometimes you're going to see some of those lightning strikes. But if you live in Franklin County, no longer do you have that tornado warning. You're in the clear, but we've got a lot of heavy rain and still lightning for us in Franklin County. The rotation has now pretty much fully crossed the Arkansas River, so you go just down from this location about 20-25 miles or so, and that's where we have the circulation crossing the Arkansas River. So it's a little bit farther down than the Ozark Bridge there as you're looking back towards the east. You're looking towards that rotation, but you have a lot of rain in the view, so you're not going to see a very clear picture of the rotation itself, but it does look like it's fully crossing. Let's go ahead and go back to the radar right now. We have just an update on some of these speeds. I'm going to redraw a few things out there. So Zach, with that new 40 mile per hour, we can get you just a little bit better of a view on exactly when this rotation will be coming into your neighborhood. So I'm updating that. Looks like the circulation itself is crossed the river, but it is moving north and east. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit wider because it looks like, Zach, this thing is kind of pushed a little bit farther east than originally looking at this. So make that a little bit wider. Still Clarksville, you are in the tornado warning, but it overall is tending to track a little bit farther west on the west side of town. So if you live on the west side of town of Clarksville, that's where you really need to watch and be in that safe zone. But Hartman here right now is where we've got the rotation. You can see Hinkle on the map about 247 for us, and then 247 for Montana, Arkansas. You head towards the New Life Christian School, that's 253, 257 for Woodland, and about 303 once you get to Mount Zion. That's a little bit off of 21 as you head north. You're getting closer to the Strawberry Bluffs now, looking at this. But you're probably thinking, Matt, there's a lot of colors on the radar. Where are we watching? What we're watching is this green and red that keeps on cycling, but right generally in this area south of Hartman, so this is just south of 64. It'll be crossing. Well, we just got a new update too, so I'm going to redraw this. Looks a little bit less defined itself. There's kind of another wind gust in Hartman itself, but we're generally watching this area right here for that rotation. Not seeing anything on the radar to indicate anything on the ground, so that's some good news. But we do have some hail in the area, especially on the western edge of that white circle there towards Hartman. We've got some hail, Cole Hill, Denning, Altus, Whitaker Village, even Ozark. We've had some indications from the radar that there could be some hail for you guys. But it overall looks like this rotation is moving north and east. It's going to be crossing Highway 64 at any moment. You can see a little bit closer, 194 as well. So this overall, zooming in just a little bit closer, a couple landmarks to kind of talk about as we watch this thing cross the river. If you guys know the West Side Elementary School, which is on the north side of Highway 64 as you're going through town, that's where we need to watch for the rotation. You've got the Hartman City Park, and you go towards the west, back on Highway 64, there's that Dollar General before you actually hit Cole Hill. That's where we've got the rotation. So anywhere from about that Cole Hill, the pharmacy there next to the Dollar General, and then back east on Highway 64, that's close to West Side High School, and also Johnson County West Side School as you're near the Huddleston Cemetery. That's on the northeast side of Cole Hill. That area from West Side High School east towards West Side Elementary School, that's where you definitely have to be in your safe zone. That's kind of the heart of this rotation as it's moving north and east. For those of you that live closer to I-40, there towards the Union Grove Baptist Church, some of you guys know where the Johnson County landfill is. That's in the path of this rotating thunderstorm. And then anyone, especially on the west side of Clarksville, so that's towards the exit where you've got the Hardys at Hampton Inn, and then also the Holiday Inn Express, but that's the first exit as you're coming from Fort Smith, the first exit of Clarksville. You need to be in your safe place as well, and that is where Highway 64 meets I-40 there west of the Clarksville High School. So as you guys know, Clarksville Primary School on the west side, and then Clarksville High School is also on the west side of town. So anywhere from about the high school westbound, so that's generally west of the Clarksville football field, which is at the middle school. Anywhere west of the Clarksville football field, you've got to be in your safe zone as we watch this thing march north and east. What you're looking like right now is some of that heavy rain, and that's one thing that Zach's talked about all morning. These things are dumping a lot of water, and in fact, they've got a flash flood watch back off towards the east as more storms are going to be happening in eastern Arkansas too. All of Arkansas is getting storms at some point today, but right now, a lot of heavy rain. You can see that road spray there on the interstate. The circulation itself has not crossed I-40, but it's going to be getting close where Highway 64 meets I-40, that first exit of Clarksville. That's generally where this rotation is kind of headed right now. We'll do a real quick a wide view. Some of us, you're thinking, I'm not in Johnson County, I've got heavy rain. What can you expect right now? Well, we've got that heavy rain over Fort Smith. The mountains are getting dumped. Those are not severe storms right now. There's a lot of heavy rain. Zach, it looks like we've got some thunderstorms popping up right next to the state line there with Oklahoma as you go toward Delaware County right now. So even western Benton County could get some heavy rain. Some of that rain's now making its way into Fayetteville too, but it's mainly on the eastern side of this complex is where we've got the strongest thunderstorm with that tornado warning. Zach, I'm going to take a wide view again and loop it for a second if you want to take over just a moment.
We're also watching some of those storms. You can see there's another tornado warning down to the southeast, but that's kind of like what we were looking at here just a couple minutes ago. These storms, a little bit more prime environment. We call these discrete supercells, individual thunderstorms not competing whatsoever against other storms. They're just ingesting that warm, muggy, humid air, similar to the storm that got going in and really pulsed up in Logan County, now moving in Johnson County, but it's getting a little messier. We still need to watch all these storms from Clarksville to Paris and just to the south, kind of moving out of Scott County. These storms do have the capabilities, again, of pulsing up. We could certainly need to watch this storm down to the south. These storms could pulse up and then maybe clip parts of Logan County, maybe parts of Johnson County. We got to watch these. One good thing is again, we haven't had any reports of a tornado with the tornado warm storm that's moving more in Johnson County now, but these storms are moving away from us. This is round one. These are moving away, but we're not done yet. We've still got more storms out to the west that will develop over time across Oklahoma, and they'll be heading this way. Area of rotation that we've been watching, that Matt's been covering here, it is moving more towards Clarksville, so we need to watch it. That little notch right there, again, it's broad rotation. It doesn't look like, at least from radar, it doesn't look like there's an ongoing tornado, but believe it or not, sometimes radar is very clear. When we're looking at it, everything we've learned, we can say, hey, there is a tornado on the ground. And other times, you got to get those eyes out in the field, and that's why we have the rest of our weather team driving across 5 country for the rest of the day, because they're going to be our boots on the ground, so to speak. They're going to be the visual, the eyes sometimes to let us know, okay, this is what we're seeing on radar. Can you confirm that? So we still have to treat it as a potential tornado trying to develop. But as Matt was saying just a little while ago, a couple scans back looked like it was going to stay more to the west of Clarksville, and then the last couple of scans it's getting a little bit closer, so can't completely rule out that this area of rotation, this area of gusty winds, won't clip at least parts of Clarksville. Clarksville Primary School, this area of circulation is going to be closer to you around 253, Clarksville 256, Hillcrest 304, and 310 in Paris Springs. Again, if you're just joining us, we're focused on a tornado warning in Johnson County. This is in our eastern, southeastern zones. This is in part of the River Valley. It doesn't matter if we have a warning in the heart of the area, in the northern zones, western zones, eastern half. We're going to cover that for everybody that's watching us. So again, meteorologist Zach Scott alongside Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge. We're covering a tornado warned storm that's moved out of Logan County now. We're watching the area of circulation to the south of Highway 64. It's tracking to the northeast about 40 miles per hour, and this storm at the very least is packing a punch with rain. Lightning does have a hail core associated with it. That's more back towards the west, impacting western portions of Johnson County. That's going to continue off towards the northeast. If you live in Johnson County, you got a nasty storm heading your way. Strong winds, heavy rain, and we're not overly concerned with widespread flash flooding, but you get a big heavy downpour, and we've got more rain coming. We could see, again, low-lying poor drainage areas. We could see those fill up with some water. Here's that hail track for us. We've been tracking this. Again, as this downdraft has strengthened at times, likely there between Paris and Roseville, producing maybe some quarter-sized hail. Looks like the hail cores come down a little bit, but that's common. Again, just like these storms cycle with circulation and sometimes tighten up a little bit more, look like they're really trying to produce a tornado. They also, the updrafts kind of cycle a little bit. They'll produce a lot of hail, then they'll drop the hail core, and then they'll produce some more. So this hail core, again, is likely staying to the west of Clarksville, heading to the north across western half of Johnson County. Edna around 255, Oak Grove School 310, and then around Garber around 315. So if you recognize any of these locations, you live close to them, heads up to you. You've got some very heavy rain, some lightning, some gusty winds, and you've got the potential for that hail core. Small hail up to the size of quarters looks like the main concern with this thunderstorm currently right now. Again, it's getting a little messy out there across the area. We've got widespread showers and thunderstorms across the River Valley now, and then we've got some scattered thunderstorms moving into northwestern Arkansas. Nothing else is severe. The storms that are moving through Fort Smith, Van Buren, Mountainburg, heading up I-49, these are not severe currently. We'll need to watch those. And then again, some nastier storms just to the southeast of us could clip far eastern portions of Logan County, and then we'll watch the trajectory there. Could get close to southeastern Johnson County. This storm, tornado warned there north of Hot Springs. So you can see, again, environment's conducive to producing these strong storms. It looks like the strongest one for us is Clarksville, but even stronger storms, thankfully for us, not so much for our neighbors just to the southeast of us, but these first round of stronger storms may stay more to the southeast of us. But we're getting a break. We're going to see more storms develop out towards the west, out in the eastern half of Oklahoma, and those will be tracking through later today. Again, a closer look here. You're hearing the heavy rain coming down, maybe some rumbles of thunder across Washington County, starting to pick up a little bit in Benton County. Again, we're just tracking some generic thunderstorms right now, but again, with the amount of moisture that's in the air right now, this storm system has a lot of moisture to tap into, and it is going to try to wring out every single drop it can. So these are going to be efficient rain producers with some very, very heavy downpours. Some of them are brief in northwest Arkansas, others, like the one moving out of Logan County into Johnson County, it's sitting there for a little bit. You can pick up a quick ½ to inch of rainfall with the storm that's moving through Johnson County just to the west of Clarksville. Matt, any new updates for you?
Yeah, so the other tornado warning, I know it's not in our area, but just to kind of highlight that we're in a pretty particular, dangerous situation when we're talking about the severe weather threat today. It does look like there could have been a brief touchdown with that tornado warning that's outside Little Rock. That's, west of Little Rock by a good chunk, but that just shows you the potential when we're talking about, hey, there's a tornado warning that's been issued for your county. There will be the possibility of it actually making its way towards the ground. Quick, I think, debris ball as you were just looking north of Hot Springs Village.
Wow.
It's kind of weakened again, but these things can touch and go. Pulse, and then it goes. But that's kind of like the cycling that you were talking about with the storm that we had in Clarksville. I'll give you the latest on the scan itself with the velocity. It looks like it's still just west side of town. It's not as distinctive. We have 5 minutes left of the tornado warning right now. The National Weather Service is just going to let that go until 3 o'clock, so that's now actually 4 minutes away. We'll see if it's reissued or whatnot, but we're talking about that general circulation on the west side of Clarksville. So we're talking anywhere from the Aquatic Center, you head westbound towards Clarksville High School. That's all on the west side of town, Clarksville Primary School. You head west to where Highway 64 meets Clarksville and I-40 on the west side of town, there towards the Holiday Express and Hampton Inn. That's generally where we had that rotation, but we'll get an update from the National Weather Service in a moment. Zach, also, we've got some thunderstorms in the vicinity of northwest Arkansas. Are we able to bring up Max 2? We can take that full screen for just a moment. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Some heavy rain now reporting in northwest Arkansas. So this is all over 5 country. And when we say 5 country, we mean northwest Arkansas, we mean the River Valley. All together, we've got chances for storms. Right now, you're looking live in Clarksville. Cody, is that exit? Is that the exit? Okay, yeah, it's that exit. Generally, we have the rotation. You can see a lot of heavy rain there on the west side of Clarksville. You can take that exit, go east a little bit, you'll hit the high school itself. But that's where we have that rotation. A lot messier right now as it pushes and skims the west side of Clarksville, mainly west of downtown. So Hillcrest, Ludwig, Woodland, and Hillcrest, that's where you need to be making sure you're in your tornado safe spot. This is a live look in Springdale because guess what? We've got thunderstorms popping up around northwest Arkansas. Right now, there are just a lot of downpours. In fact, I'm going to move the camera for you just a little bit. Now you're looking directly south where we're getting a good downpour in Fayetteville and on the south side of Springdale. There towards Johnson. Pretty much anyone from Don Tyson Parkway south is getting that heavy rain into the Boston Mountains. It's really heavy right now over across I-49 US 71 there by the university. It's headed south to Greenland and West Fork. Very heavy rain for us too. And then if you move the camera back east, you see a little bit of the glints of some of the daylight there in the west, but we've got more downpours and dark sky as you look north and west there towards Gravette, Decatur, Siloam Springs, kind of some pop-up downpours. You get closer to the Arkansas-Oklahoma state line. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to the radar. Let's take a look. Looks like we may have some, not in our area, but Zach, there towards central Arkansas, there could be some damage reports. Looks like the tornado warning has now expired. It is too messy. We still have some wind, we have some heavy rain, and we've got some hail too, we've got some lightning. But it looks like the tornado warning is expiring for Logan and Johnson County. You're going to see an update on the map in just a second. We're going to regroup here. We've got a lot of forecasting. Really, we call it nowcasting when the storms are already here because guess what? These aren't the only storms. This was just kind of a quick, are you ready for today kind of round as they push off towards the west. What Zach's been talking about all morning, and then if you watch our new newscast, they're towards the west and in parts of central and eastern Oklahoma. Generally, anywhere from Tulsa southbound to Lake Eufaula, we're going to be watching a lot of thunderstorms develop as that